Hey guys, it's Danny here with Let a Rip Tater Chip channel, and today is another episode of Journey into Metal. And my guest today is one of my best friends, Mr. Devon Grace.
What's up, guys? What's going?
Um, Again, like I said today, it's going to be a journey into metal, and also if you hear any jingling, it's my puppies in the background. Sorry, guys. Um, but Devin is going to explain how he got into metal, how um, what he first heard, where he took it, how he's been a musician, and all this kind of stuff. So, Mr. Devin, will you explain how you got into metal?
Of course. I didn't start off playing or listening to metal. Of course, as a kid, I listened to what my parents listened to, which was country.
I'm
But
sorry.
yeah, I am too. But I didn't really get into anything different until I don't know, probably middle school. Um, your basic angsty teenager stuff.
Hmm.
My Chemical Romance and all that, the emo stuff, and then
Well, I mean, it was good for what it was.
I still love it.
Uh,
I also listen to My Chemical Romance all the time, but it wasn't until really high school when I started actually playing the guitar, and uh, my grandpa started teaching me when me and my brother when we were young, and because my parents thought we needed more hobbies other than playing video games, whatever.
Video games are awesome. They got musical aspect in it.
But wasn't until what year was it in high school when you were just like, hey, you know how to play guitar, right?
Let's see, when we go into high school, 2005, 6.
Mm,
I think I played my first Battle of the Bands in 2006. And it was a two-piece with me and my sister.
yeah.
And I remember after the show, you like ran up to me and it was like got in my face and was like, that was fucking amazing what you did. I was like, okay, cool. And then I do remember, after that we started hanging out a lot, and you said you play guitar, and I was just like, okay, well, why don't you switch to bass? It's a little bit easier.
Yeah.
And then we created a band after that with various different members and lineup changes and musical directions and stuff like that. But what are some of the main bands that got you like hardcore into metal though?
Well, I first started off metal wise was like Avenged Sevenfold, but that was very early on, and but when I started actually playing with you guys and hanging out with you guys more about and doing music stuff, that's when it really, got me into um, like the 80s metal and all that good stuff, all the hair bands and but yeah, it just kind of grew over the years. Of course, I still love like all the classic rock and bluesy stuff, but yeah, you got me into like Stevie Ray, and then I kind of branched off into more other blues stuff, more classic blues like Muddy Waters and Lightning Hopkins and stuff.
Yeah,
But
very good guitar players.
oh yeah, metal. Man, I think it was first start off with like real thrashy, like before Megadeth, Metallica, Slayer. I didn't really listen to Anthrax and stuff, but
Yeah,
yeah,
Anthrax is all right.
yeah, I'm not a huge fan, but I still like the kind of punk feel to it.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, that's where it really started was like thrash metal, and what really got me into metal.
Yeah.
And it's been recently like real into like Havoc and Skeleton Witch, where you got me into Skeleton Witch, and but yeah, I'm still just keep on just growing and just keep listening to new things all the time.
That's a wonderful thing that you can um, be able to listen to all these different genres of music and have a love and and passion for all the musical aspects within those genres.
Yeah.
Now, with your metal though, when you're growing with it, are you starting to get into like death metal and black metal and all those different subgenres like blackened death metal or death blackened metal, stuff like that as well, like bands like let's just say for the black metal like Immortal and Belphegor, those type of bands. What do you get out of those? Do you love them? Do you like them? Do you hate them?
Black metal, I have to give it more time for me to listen to. It takes me a while, especially since I don't listen to black metal as much. I'm more into thrash and stuff. But black metal, I mean, it's slowly growing on me, slowly.
Slowly.
I have to I just got to take the time and just really just listen to it.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, there are those black metal bands where they got like a 4-track recorder and one microphone and they're just like fucking screaming into it, you know. But there are bands like Immortal and Belphegor and a bunch of other people that I can't remember names of right now that, you know, actually go in and mix and produce very well sounding albums.
Right.
Backtracking a little bit, let's go through your progression of, you said you were into 80s heavy metal and 80s hair metal, and then we'll start going into your thrash metal a little bit. What are some of the bands of the 80s scene that like inspired you to pick up the guitar or start listening to them very heavily?
Well, I mean, hair metal wise, I mean, I just kind of listened to. I just loved it, but what really inspired me to play was like Megadeth and Slayer. I love Slayer. We've seen them millions of times together. But yeah, those are probably the big two that really got me into it.
So, Megadeth and Slayer.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's break those down because they are thrash metal, and both bands have different styles of their thrash.
Right.
What is within Megadeth and within Slayer that, you know, gets your heart pumping and gets you going, and what do you take from those bands? What is the feeling that you get?
Well, well, Slayer for one. I love how chaotic Kerry King is with his guitar and stuff, and it makes you mad and it makes you just want to just fucking run around and punch people, but
but you don't do it.
No, of course not. But
unless you're in the pit.
But I love like the evil imagery and how they can bring it down real slow and heavy and just mean and. I mean, it doesn't even have to be real complex. It's just real mean, and it just sets the tone. This real evil and just dark tone to it. And then Megadeth is just real fast and heavy and technical and in your face and stuff. And I've always thought Dave Mustaine was really cool.
I mean, he is really
cool.
There was one show to get off track for a little bit. I can't remember if it was with you or with my parents that we saw Megadeth, and we were on the rail, and I don't know why. I guess I know why. I had a bunch of guitar picks in my pocket. For some reason in my head, that Dave Mustaine was going to like kick somebody out of the audience and like, hey, come up here and play guitar for a little bit. So I always carried picks, and just in case, you never know.
You never know.
And so it was getting near the end of the show. I knew he wasn't going to like pick anybody out of the audience. And so some of these picks actually have my name on it.
Your number, your address.
My address. You know, I love you, Dave. Please call me. Anyway, it was getting near the end of the show, and I knew nothing was going to happen. So I took one of these picks, and just for shits and giggles, I flick it. And
hit some square in the eye.
Kinda. I thought it was just gonna, land on stage, whatever. Cool. I got to pick up on stage. Maybe he'll see it and pick it up. Whatever. I didn't know this pick was just gonna fucking soar. And he was in a solo, and it hit him square in the fucking chest. And I could see the anger that got on his face because he looked up, and I kind of still had my arm out in a throwing stance, and he just looked at me and glared at me and just looked through my soul, and I knew he was just automatically pissed, but he couldn't stop because he was in the middle of a guitar solo, and I kind of just crept back into the crowd and just let it go.
And then you received a letter from him saying, "Never come to my shows again."
And I was sued. I know now every song that I write has to go to him. But anyway, within Megadeth, you said you did love the heavier thrashiness, the melodicness. When you're listening to these bands, I know from experience and stuff, when you are a guitar player, you mostly listen to the guitar first.
Yeah, that's always what sticks out.
But do you go more in depth? Do you listen to the lyrics and take the meaning out of them too? Or is that just second nature? Like, I don't care what the fuck they say,
Honestly, it's never been a lot about the lyrics for me. It's about maybe the melody and stuff, but it's always guitar, then bass, then drums, and then 100 times I've listened to the song, I'm like, oh, the lyrics.
Symphony of Destruction. Oh, he said Symphony of Destruction. Oh, that's a cool song. Angry again.
Yeah, but
sweating bullets. His smile is black tooth grin.
Well, yeah, I mean his voice always kind of stuck out. It's just real gritty and
unique.
Yeah.
That's why I loved Megadeth more than Metallica. I mean, Metallica, their first couple albums, good because Dave Mustaine wrote them all. And so that's why Metallica's albums are great, because Dave Mustaine wrote them all. But
I will say that Kill 'Em All is my epitome of thrash metal, though. I love that album.
That's because, again, Dave Mustaine wrote all the songs. And but I mean, that is a wonderful album. I love that album to death. But I think what I'm getting at is Dave Mustaine took it to a whole new level. He had a grudge on his shoulder, or a chip on his shoulder, and wanted to make something better than Metallica. He never wanted to be number two. And for me, Megadeth was always number one because they produced, I think, better albums and better music than Metallica. Metallica's got I think 8 albums, something like that. Megadeth has 15. Are there hits and misses on some of their albums? Yeah, but you can always pick 1 or 2 songs from them albums that were really, really good.
Yeah.
Now, moving on past Slayer and all that, I guess I can name another band of Pantera. Did Pantera do anything for you?
Definitely, yeah. I mean, that was mainly because of you, but but yeah, I mean, Pantera, Black Label Society, and Zakk Wylde and stuff. Of course, you got me into them. I still will just jam to Pantera. Primal Concrete Sludge is one of my favorite songs by them.
Yes, definitely.
But yeah, them too are Pantera just gets in your blood, makes you run hot, and you're just like, yes,
yes, it's over 9,000.
Yeah, it's it's all about the feeling and stuff that it gets you. And I mean, I guess I don't love being angry all the time, but it's still, I don't know, it's all part of the experience that.
Yeah, I think that's what people don't get. They see the minority of people like going out there in the pit and fucking like destroying each other.
Right.
You know, that's the minority. I think most of the people there are there for the groove, the feeling of getting like angry and pumped up. Like I
Yeah.
want to go fucking kill somebody, but you never do.
Right.
But you know, that's just
There's like a camaraderie.
yeah.
Because I
It's
mean,
a
people
it's
are, you knock someone down, you're gonna help them up, or
yeah. You know, I mean that I think that's what other people that are like stuck in their ways of like, let's just say a country person like I like that country twang and blah 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 blah. You know that heavy metal and whatnot is just noise. To us, it ain't noise. You know, if you listen to it, it's got amazing guitar players, amazing drummers, amazing bass players. You
yeah.
got amazing singers that can either sing, growl, or scream, and there's talent to it. You can't just like get a guy off the street.
You're not just screaming.
You know, it's not like oh they're just screaming. Well, guess what? They have to scream in key.
Right. Yeah.
You know, they can't just like I'm gonna go into a mic and do this. Like no, it has to be in key with the song.
Yeah. It's not incoherent, just guttural
I mean, it might
noise.
be. You
So,
never
I mean,
know.
yeah, but that's not all it is. There's more to it.
Yeah. Okay, so we got your 80s metal, your thrash metal, and you've gotten into some newer stuff. Is there any newer bands that you've picked up recently that you really, really, really dig? Or maybe there's an old band that has come anew and they're putting out amazing albums and you're re-listening to them and all this stuff. So is there any of that coming back with you?
Um, Accept is always putting out good albums. They're
I
still
mean,
cranking them
yeah,
out.
you got Wolf Hoffman on guitar. You can't beat that.
Yeah. I really love recently. I don't know if they're new. There's like Black Fast. I think they're from somewhere down south. I've actually met the lead singer once. I went to a show in like Dayton at this like rock star wrestling. It was like a wrestling arena, but it was a good show. It was like Havoc. Um, who else was there? I think Battlecross was there.
Ooh, Battlecross.
Havoc.
That's with the
Battlecross.
female singer, right?
I think. I don't know. I didn't stay.
Oh, you suck.
No, I was really just there for Havoc and Blackfest,
Mm-hmm.
and some other band, Necro Goblicon, was there. It's their own thing. It was not my cup of tea, I guess. But yeah, recently I love Havoc. They just put out a new album, Conformicide. Just really good. Trying to think. You got me into Skeleton Witch. Fucking love Skeleton Witch.
Now with Skeleton Witch, do you like their new singer? I think it's Adam. That's in it.
I don't know yet. I don't know. I have to really really get down to it and listen.
I mean, I
Look
do
at
like
it.
the music that they put out with that EP, but
Yeah.
with the 4 albums with Chance on vocals,
Mhm.
it's just like that is Skeleton Witch,
Mhm.
and with I think it's Adam that's on vocals. Um, it kind of changed the dynamic a little bit because his voice is completely different from Chance.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe Chance will be back in the band, or maybe Adam on the. I know Skeleton Witch is recording an album right now. Maybe he'll change his vocals up a little bit. I don't know, but
We'll see.
yeah. So that's your newer bands, and we've gotten your older bands, gotten your mid '90s bands. Is there some like weird off the rails band that you love?
Off the rails. I don't know. I'd have to like go through So I try to listen to just about a little bit of everything. Just kind of get my feelers out there and see what's out there.
Because I've known you like, you love blues, you love rock, you love metal and all that stuff, and I know you went to a lot of Black Keys shows, and
Oh
they
yeah.
put out great music too.
Hmm.
I know that's kind of left field, for you. Um,
Yeah, the blues rock.
yeah,
Yeah.
because I mean, it's still great stuff. Like, you got great blues players nowadays, like Joe Bonamassa, which is a phenomenal guitar player.
Oh yeah.
He's
Oh yeah.
kind of the guy that's bringing blues rock back. You got those older bands out there like ZZ Top where they still play blues rock, but they're getting pushing 70 years old and they're not going to be around forever, which is a sad thing.
Yeah.
But anywho, I think that's it for today, guys. This is Mr. Devon Grace. That was his journey through metal. And just remember, guys, let her rip, Tater Chip.